them in place to keep us in chains. By show of hands, who else is sick and tired of the same? 1% trying to keep us small, trying to keep us from getting out. Minimizing the struggles they've caused, saying we're not working hard enough.
We really should stop this fighting. Otherwise, we'll miss the fireworks.
There won't be any fireworks.
And here we go.
And welcome, everybody, to Suck It! I am the great and powerful King of Tings, Prince of all that is awesome, Derek. How the fuck is everybody tonight on this Monday, November 9th of the horrible year that is 2020? I hope you guys are enjoying your day, your start of your week. Hope your weekend was good. I know mine was to a certain degree, to a certain extent. But, you know, life happens. Oh, fucking well, we move on, right? Still have no idea what the hell is going on in the world of politics because it's just funny to watch. So, you know, I'm just waiting for the shoe to drop on, you know, something there. But, you know, who knows? But, you know, we are starting another week of fantastic music. Just one after the other. Music galore again this week. And thank God for that. Because you know what? I need music in my life. Because otherwise I'm going to go fucking crazy. So, I hope you guys enjoy what I'm about to present to you today. Because I have a band that not only just released a new set of songs, but also was a direct support last month to fucking Steel Panther. I mean, what the hell is that about? So, the craziness there and all the hoots and giggles that we can get today is going to be what this is all about. So, without any further ado, please welcome to the show, the Messenger Birds. What's going on, guys? How you guys doing?
Hey, what's up?
Nothing. How's things been going, guys?
You know, it's been a little wild this past week, particularly in the Detroit area. I mean, I'm sure you've seen what was going on down at the TCF Center the other day.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, other than that, things have been pretty good, and we're just happy to be here.
So wait a second. I must not have read your bio fully enough. You guys are in Michigan?
Yeah, we are, yeah. Where are you?
I'm in Northern Virginia, but we have a problem.
Uh-oh.
You know, see, I'm originally from Ohio.
Uh-huh.
And in Ohio, we take a certain sport very seriously. And we don't like people from Michigan because the University of Michigan is the worst place on the face of the planet. And I'm a Buckeye fan, and I don't know if you guys are football fans at all, but you know, I you know, now I'm sad.
Here's the good news is that neither of us are really football fans whatsoever.
So then we're good then.
So yeah, we don't play into the whole U of M Buckeye rivalry very much, but
yeah, we can't remember the last time I watched a football game, to be honest with you.
Yeah, we're both hockey players, and so
okay, I think that works.
We care a lot more about the
Red Wings
and the rebuild right now than we do about college football.
Well, that's good. Then we're gonna get along just fine.
All right.
So you know, things have been kind of chaotic for you guys over the last couple months. It seems like. You know, you released some new songs, then you guys fucking, you know, did an opening support for fucking Steel Panther on a virtual show. You know, what the hell, man? You guys are all over it.
Well, there are a couple things about that. Yes, we released an album. We're really excited that that's out there, and really pleased with the response. So thank you to anybody that's heard it, bought it, listened to it, whatever, shared it with people. As for the Steel Panther thing, that actually ended up not happening. It was supposed to be a drive-in show. It was supposed to be a drive-in show.
Yeah, I knew that. Yeah,
Pontiac, and it ended up getting canceled because it wasn't selling enough tickets. And so I think it was just one of those things where it was a big miscommunication, even though like we and the band Steel Panther and the Crofoot were really trying to get the message out there loud and clear to everybody, but there seemed to be kind of a miscue between somewhere along the lines there, because the ticket prices were $150 per car, which assumed 4 people. And it worked out to, the same ticket price that a Steel Panther show would have been on your own, which is like $35 a person.
Yeah.
And so it was worked out to be like that. And then I think all people were saying was like $150 for a ticket. That's crazy. I'm not buying that. And not realizing, I got to get like 4 of my buds to come with me and BYOB, party, have a good time. So
yeah,
it ended up unfortunately getting canceled, and we were bummed about that. But yeah, that was supposed to happen. It would have been rad.
It would have been.
Sacrifice last time too.
They always bring a great crowd and put on an awesome show, and we were all pumped for it. But yeah, I think big just miscommunication was the main problem.
Yeah, I hadn't heard that it got canceled, and because I had saw everything go on, when I got the press release last month about it, and I didn't hear it got canceled. So my bad about
a really big public announcement for it when it got canceled. Like I think it just kind of went out to people that had bought tickets and like on the email, and then the Facebook event said canceled, but there wasn't like a public announcement that I saw.
And it was like 2 days before it happened.
Yeah, it was really close to.
Oh wow. Well, that sucks, because, I've seen Steel Panther now, 3 or 4 times? And they just put on a hell of a show.
Yeah, it's awesome, man.
Yeah, we've had friends that toured with them and said that they're just wild.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been trying to get them on the show for a while. They keep dodging me.
Hey, what can you do, man?
Yeah, my job is to bug the shit out of every PR person on the face of the planet until you eventually give in and come on my damn show.
We're here, you gotta.
That's hell yeah, and because you know what? Because your PR just loves throwing shit at me left and right.
Yeah, Mike is great. We love Mike.
Oh my god! For the last 3 weeks, I've had nothing but all of the bands on that. All of them on.
Oh yeah.
And I even got more coming. It's ridiculous. So thanks, Mike. Appreciate it.
Yeah, shout out to Mike. You're the best.
So one of the things that I found interesting is, on your press release, when I first read it, because I had heard of you guys, but I hadn't, heard any of your music prior.
Sure.
But now I have. But one of the things that kind of sparked my interest was toward the end of it, where it said, "Make no mistake, Messenger Birds are not a rock band." Why does it say that? Because, I hear all types of influences in there. Everything from, Queens of the Stone Age, like you mentioned, but I hear it in there too. But, and a bunch of other things. Why do you not classify yourself as a rock band?
It's a bit of a joke, a bit of an inside joke. Because the backstory on that is a couple years ago we were playing at this place in Detroit called the Garden Bowl, and this was kind of the early days of Mopop Festival down here, starting to kind of branch out and get some bigger artists. So we were doing this kind of like road to Mopop thing where we played on a floating stage above this bowling alley.
Okay.
And so the Garden Bowl is kind of like a mainstay Detroit bar next to the Majestic Theater down on Woodward. And so this guy who's like kind of a regular, like you couldn't really tell if he's like your corner homeless guy that is just always kind of in the area and pops in and out, or if he just was a regular at the bar. But he comes kind of like wandering in, and he didn't know there was a show going on, and so he wanders in, and after we were done playing, we went and talked to this guy. He came up to Chris, and he was like, "Yeah, man, I came in here, I came to the bar." And then I was like, "Oh, it sounds like a rock band's playing." And then he walks into the other room and he's like, "Wait a second, that's not a rock band. That's just 2 guys." And so like the running joke forever has been that we're not a rock band. We're just 2 guys.
It kind of really complements our approach to the music. Is we don't approach it as like trying to. We can't really do it as a band. We are just 2 guys. So we approach it in a way that's kind of just like trying to create sounds and noise.
Yeah.
And it's just different than what we've done when we have been in rock bands.
Yeah, I think also we don't take the approach of like trying to be a rock band. It's just like the grand sum of all of our influences happens to be, you know, predominantly more aggressive rock, punk rock music, you know.
Oh yeah.
But in conclusion, we are a rock band.
We're not a rock band. We also are not a rock. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. But
Yeah, it doesn't. I was like, and I knew there had to be a story behind it, so I'm glad you told me, because I was like, what the hell does that even mean? Because I mean,
these
you know,
guys are in denial. What's going on with this?
I mean, excuse me, because I mean, in history, I mean, there's been not a whole bunch, but there's been a few, you know, 2-person rock bands. I mean, obviously, White Stripes is the most famous.
Sure, yeah.
And then before that, God, what was the name of that damn band? They had like one good song. I cannot think of the name of them, but it was just 2 dudes. I can't think of the name of them for the life of me. But you know, there's been a handful of them, and you know, it's different because it limits you, but at the same time, it opens up a whole new set of avenues because it gives you an opportunity to truly be creative on what you two bring to the table and do things that a 3-person or 4-person band could only do, you know, if all 4 minds got together and said, we can do this. But it only takes you two to come up with it and kind of say, hey, let's try this. I said, let's try this. So I like that concept a little bit better sometimes.
Yeah, that's kind of the best part of it is that, and this is what we've always said from the beginning, is that we feel like because there's only 2 of us, there's a lot less, you know, pushback and you know, wall hitting of ideas that are clashing because we only have 2 members and we don't have, you know, 5 different people arguing over, you know, 5 different ideas. So we're generally on the same page with most things, and we both bring ideas to the table. We both workshop stuff together, and as well as do stuff separately and bring it in so that we can collaborate on it. But yeah, I definitely agree. That's as much as it limits us in terms of what we're able to physically do. It forces us to try to think outside the box a little bit and try to do whatever we can to expand on the sound and try new things and layer new types of tones and, you know, whatever we can throw at the wall.
Yeah, it definitely challenges us to progress and try new things. That band you were thinking before, was it Local H?
Thank you. God, I was just Googling. I'm like, who the hell was that? I could not think of it at all. But yes, Local H.
Yeah, they're awesome.
They are. I've seen them quite a few times too. They do travel with a 3rd guitarist, but
do they now?
well, I mean, at least when I saw them. And
oh man,
damn, that was like 10 years ago though. So I mean, they did.
Was it a guy that was playing off the side of the stage, or was he playing on stage?
A little bit of both.
A little bit of both. Okay.
Yeah.
I wonder. We were talking when we were on tour with 68 last year. We had a conversation with Josh Scoggin about that, and he was like, man, I saw those guys years and years ago, like in the 90s, and like I just could not figure out how they sounded so heavy. And now I question if it was like a 3rd guitar player off the side of the stage or something like that. But you know, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, but he wasn't. I mean, now he could have been off to the side of the stage the entire time, but he did come on stage a couple times. Mm-hmm. But it was it sounded like it was just the 2 of them the entire time. I mean, but like I said, the other guy came in and out, and it was actually their guitar tech, to be totally honest with you.
Okay. Yeah,
so,
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so it was, yeah, but they were badass then. They still are.
Oh, they still
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, when I just Googled it just now as you guys were talking, the only thing that came up was Tenacious D, White Stripes, and Garfunkel and Oates. I mean, yeah.
Dude, Tenacious D will forever be one of the greatest rock bands to ever exist.
You know what? I don't doubt that in any which way, shape, or form. Jack Black is a genius.
Dude, he's the best.
He truly fucking is.
Did you see his? He did that Time Warp cover right before the election happened. They did it was like Tenacious D. Jack Black was wearing like a whole bunch of different costumes in the video and just going balls to the wall. And then they had a couple of different kind of guest people pop into the video too, and it was pretty entertaining. But it was, you know, just classic Jack Black.
No, I did not actually see that.
Look that up when you have the time. It's a pretty great cover of Time Warp.
That is, I'll have to do that. That's pretty interesting. It's pretty funny too. I mean, again, I wouldn't put it past him because I mean, I just I know how he is, and he's just fucking insane.
He's just entertainer all the time, man. Like that when he did the Game of Thrones theme song video with all like a cappella instruments.
Yep.
It's just, I mean, I can't get enough of that guy.
No, me neither. Absolutely not. No way. Yeah. So, it's been kind of weird this year, obviously, for obvious reasons, because, you can't tour. You might do a virtual show, I'm not sure if you guys have or not. But, aside from, putting out new music, there's no real way to get out in front of your fans other than, social media and stuff like that. So how have you guys navigated that?
Yeah, we've done a couple of virtual shows. For like the first few months of the lockdown, we were doing a podcast on our YouTube channel called "We Got Ourselves and Kevin Into This," and we just kind of like it was our way of like being able to hang out with each other again when we weren't allowed to like physically see each other in person, and talk to some of our friends, people that we work with in the industry, and just have a chance to act like morons and then also talk music. And then putting out the album was the next big thing, and figuring out how do we do that, what makes the most sense. And then we did a live in studio session, like live stream for that, playing the album front to back. So yeah, I mean, we've been doing whatever we can to get things out there, and we gotta now that we're kind of done mostly with the heavy promotion of the album, we have a little bit more time to get back into doing some podcast episodes ourselves. So I think we're gonna pick that back up soon, and see who of our friends we can get back on here and get it rolling again.
Yeah, I mean, that's the best way to do it. I mean, the cool thing about this year is the fact that, some of the smaller bands, and I talked to a couple bands about this over the past couple weeks, the bigger bands aren't putting shit out right now, and they're, Avenged Sevenfold said, we're not putting our new album out until we can tour. Another band I talked to last week in September Morning said the same thing, and while that's good for them because, they need that stage show, they need that, they need that to come along with them. But it's the fans are still begging for music. But then you guys are there, and you guys, release your album on a Friday or release a single on a Tuesday, and it's like, oh, who the hell is this? New music. Let's go ahead and take it in. And I think that's where you guys have the advantage of it, because it's kind of made everything a level playing field this year.
It's helped a lot. I mean, we released 2 singles back, one in March and one in April as well. So our single "Play Dead" was so like COVID appropriate that we had to put it out like when the lockdown happened, at least in this area, and it had an incredible response. So that actually helped us out. And then a few months later, then we're getting ready for the album release. So it kind of tied things together for us, like as far as music releases go.
Yeah, and I mean, it definitely like being in front of people playing shows obviously would have helped us get the record out in front of more people a little bit better and sell more records too, sell more merch. But, for us, we really didn't have anything to lose. Like, we put the record out ourselves. We don't have any ties with the label, and so we don't owe anybody anything. So it was kind of the perfect time for us to put it out. And now we're already back writing another album and getting ready to go in the studio as soon as possible. And then, once I mean, we just saw today that Pfizer announced that they've got a vaccine that is looking like 90% effective. So, that's the first real piece of good news and positive trending towards getting a vaccine. And so if that kind of keeps up, then I'm hoping by spring, summer next year, it'll be doable to actually have some shows again.
Yeah, I certainly agree with that because, I'm missing live music. And we'll talk more about that in a second because my camera operator, which is me, has fucked up somehow because I'm all fucking fuzzy. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. I'm going to fix that real quick, and I'll be right back. Guys, have you ever wondered how you can help support the channel and also look fucking cool in the process? Go to the link down below, www.dckproductions.com/shop to get the awesomest merch on the market today. Whether you just want to get one of our plain logos in one of our many different colors, or if you want to get one of our cool graphic tees that just are funny as hell, the choice is yours. But definitely pick up your choice of any one of these shirts in any color, any size, any style that you choose at www.dckproductions.com/shop or click the link in the bio. Thank you, guys. All right. And tonight's episode is also brought to you by BetterHelp. BetterHelp is an app that you guys can use 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, wherever you are at in the world, and just basically be able to talk to, a therapist wherever you're at, anywhere, day or night. Text them, face message them, whatever you have to do, they're there for you. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. BetterHelp allows you to bypass the waiting room, bypass your internet, website for your, excuse me, for your insurance company, and then having to wait weeks upon weeks upon weeks just to go to a therapist and find out that they're not the right fit for you. And then you have to turn around and do that whole rigmarole again. BetterHelp helps avoid that. You get matched right away, and if you don't like them, they'll match you with somebody else. It's fantastic. It works perfectly. I use them every week, and it's just one of the best things out there. So do yourself a favor, go to betterhelp.com/SIPod. Again, that's betterhelp.com/SIPod for 10% off your first month. Guys, BetterHelp is the best thing out there today. You won't go wrong. Again, that's betterhelp.com/SIPod for 10% off your first month. All right, and now back to the show. I'm still all fucking fuzzy, but we'll try this again anyway.
All right. It looks a little better now.
I'm watching myself on my TV. I'm like, this is not, I don't know what's going on. It was perfect earlier, and then all of a sudden it just went down. I guess it's not too bad right now.
It seemed like as soon as you brought us back into the screen, it
balanced out.
Balanced out a little bit.
Yeah, I was thinking it was my internet connection, but now I'm just thinking it's StreamYard because they do that to me every once in a while. Because I did a show earlier today.
StreamYard, but
Yeah, because I did a show earlier today at noon, and I had no issues at all. I didn't touch my camera at all. All I did was turn it off, and then turn it back on when you guys got on. So who knows?
We'll blame
anyway,
StreamYard.
Let's just blame StreamYard. Damn it! I pay my $25 a month. Give me a fucking good stream. But anyway, so live music. Again, like we were saying, it sucks not being able to get out there. But again, at the same time, it's one of those things where you guys can put out a album and, not be bombarded by other, major artists, covering up for you. But at the same time, you guys miss it just as much as they do. Last year, no shit, I saw 10 different concerts. And to not see one this year has just been absolutely horrible. It's just bad. And, can't go to the movies, all my Marvel movies got pushed back until next year. Even the Marvel TV shows that were supposed to start this month are being pushed back until next year. So I don't have my comic book movies. I look like I still have my comic books, but I don't have live music. Yeah, some bands are putting out live albums from concerts that they did last year, but that's, again, it's no better than a virtual show. So it's like, when is this all going to happen? Yes, Pfizer did come out with that today about the 90% thing. But again, it's still going to take months upon months to, organize, tours and everything else like that. And then who's to say this thing even works? It could come back and it just makes people sicker. Who knows?
Yeah, they're saying they don't know the longevity of of the vaccine, like how long it'll keep people without symptoms or protect them.
Which is also why, I mean, like the 90% effectiveness of this Pfizer vaccine is great news, but it's not the end all be all, like we fixed it. It's just like, okay, now we've got one of like, you know, there's 3 other vaccines from major companies that are, you know, moving along and that they've had good news about in the last month or two. And it's still being projected by them and by some of the top people at the CDC that, you know, spring, summer of next year is the hopeful time of being able to roll that out. But again, we still have not a lot of really clear messaging because there's not, we don't have many, I guess, reliable, clear, consistent messages coming out from you know, the talking heads on in the media and from the White House, and you know, you're just getting different messages all over the place. So nobody, you have one group of people that believes this, another group of people that believes this, and whether we have a 100% effective vaccine, some people are also going to not trust it. So you know, it's just going to be like, even when it comes out, I don't know what what it's really going to look like in terms of the music industry, to say the least.
Yeah. I mean, and I've said it from the beginning, you know, music and, you know, anything stage-wise, you know, music, comedy, plays on Broadway, you know, those are going to be the last to come back.
Yes.
You know, the movie industry, they can figure it out. I mean, they can, you know, put out, you know, $30 movies and, you know, on Disney Plus or Amazon Prime or whatever the case might be, and you know, still turn a good profit.
Right.
Again, you know, I'm not going to pay, you know, $30 to watch a Broadway play on my TV. No, I mean,
right, of course.
You know, or same thing with a fucking concert, or you know, I mean, I mean, granted, I have, you know, I paid my $30 last month for Corey Taylor.
I'm sure it was great too, but it's still like it's one of those things where, like, no matter how many live stream concerts you watch or that somebody does, it still is not even close to a replacement for a real show. You know?
No, because I mean,
so that's the frustrating part for not only the fans but for the bands as well, is that, you know, we all know that it's not a replacement, and that, you know, we all want live shows to come back. So we're just trying to make sure we do whatever we can do to make that happen as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Because also then you've got the venues who are all, I mean, not only venues now, but we're talking like every company that's involved in live event production has laid off huge amounts of their workers, and people are going to go bankrupt if there's no stimulus or financial support, which is why we've been waiting on Congress to push through this NIVA bill as part of the coronavirus support. And of course, right before the election, they got dismissed early without coming to any sort of agreement on it. So there's a lot of frustration in the music industry, particularly because it's been ignored for, you know, 7 months.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, it's not so much like the bigger places; it's the smaller ones,
Exactly.
the historical ones. I mean, there was a comedy club in Austin, Texas, that's been around for 50 fucking years that just closed its doors last month. You know, it was a historical, you know, club that they had, and just it's gone. You know, Whiskey A Go Go, one of the most famous clubs in all of California, was on the verge of going bankrupt and having to close their doors. Thankfully, Miley Cyrus, you know, and a bunch of other people did that, you know, charity event for them last month, or 2 weeks ago, whatever it was. Yeah, still last month, but yeah. I mean, and, you know, good on her, because she fucking rocked it out. Oh my God. You know, and I've been complimenting her a lot lately. But
I feel
you know,
like a lot of people watch that show and we're like, wow, Miley Cyrus is way better than I gave her credit for before. You know what I mean? Like,
it's so I read something about her after I watched it, because the first thing I heard, oh my God, she did a fantastic, cover of Cranberry Zombie.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, let me go watch that. Let me just see how good it was. And I was like, wow, fucking badass. And then I read an article about it, about the whole thing. And I guess her next album that she's getting ready to put out is very rock, hard rock, big riffs, big drums, the whole 9 yards. And then I also heard that she's in the process of talking to James Hetfield and Lars Ulrich about doing a Metallica covers CD.
I heard that too, yeah.
And I'm like, okay, Miley, if you come over to the dark side, I will love you forever. Because I saw, the rock in her. I saw that aggression in her. When she was belting out, she had some good screams, and good growls when she was doing, Zombie, and I was super impressed. I've never been a fan of hers, but holy shit, that one song and then that whole performance, I was just super impressed by.
Yeah,
she was cool to see her use her voice like that.
It was.
That
The same thing happened with Chain Reaction in Anaheim, where it announced that it was going bankrupt and closing down, and then Stick to Your Guns and a bunch of other bands came together and started a fundraiser for it, and they saved it. But they paid a bunch of money to like get out of their lease because they knew they were going to have to close, and now I think they now have enough money where they can reopen again, but I don't think they're going to do it right now, obviously, because it would just be wasted money.
Yeah, 100%. But at the same time, it's like, these smaller clubs, and Whiskey Go Go is not a small club. It's a bigger club, but, the ones that are smaller than that, are the lifeblood of the rock industry. Last year, on the Octane Accelerator tour that SiriusXM did, they had Ice Nine Kills and Fit for a King and a bunch of other bands on there that just fucking killed it. But they were doing the smaller venues. The one I went and saw was at a place called the Baltimore Soundstage, and it's a little fucking underground little stage underneath a parking garage. It's very small, tight as hell, maybe 1,000 people if everyone's crammed in there. But those places right there are what at risk with this whole thing. And it's and those are where just like the CBGB Club, if it wasn't for places like that, we wouldn't have the Ramones, we wouldn't have Rancid, we wouldn't have even Metallica back in the day hit that club. And those again are the lifebloods of this the genre, because the money as far as like the music industry goes for the rock industry, Sony's not putting a shit ton of money into rock bands. They're not scouting rock bands. Right. There's no A&R rep going to rock shows saying, okay, I think I want to sign those guys. No.
That doesn't really exist anymore.
Yeah,
it doesn't. So it takes...
Spotify is kind of the A&R now.
It really is. But then it takes, a bigger band that might be on a smaller label that says, oh, I like your guys' music, come on tour with us, we're going to go hit a bunch of small clubs and build a name for you, and then you guys get to do the exact same thing, and then it's just this thing, and it's all about word of mouth and who and who you play with versus that money, because you guys do it all yourself, and we don't have those clubs, the rock side of things, because hate the phrase or not, rock is dead here in America, but it's bands like y'all and those clubs right there that are keeping it alive.
Of course. And that applies too for not just rock bands, but like Billie Eilish, before she blew up, was playing clubs for, she got huge attention nationally when she was like 13, but she also a couple of years ago was playing like a 400 cap room in Detroit. And all of a sudden she was playing, like arena shows, but all of these artists depend on the small clubs to start out and build their show and get to a point where they're seasoned enough to play consistently that good in front of a crowd. It's how you become a good live band.
Absolutely. I remember back in the day, when I was, touring with some bands and, being that, touring guitarist for a couple of different bands, it was, the small clubs. And then, we did a bunch of small clubs and then we played House of Blues in Orlando. And, that place still only holds like maybe 5,000 people, but it was like, holy shit, that's a lot of fucking people.
Yeah. And I mean, playing in rooms in front of like 100 people, and then you go to that, you're like,
oh my God. Yeah. Yeah. It's ridiculous. I mean, I remember starting out, playing, we had this place, in a little city called Castleberry, Florida. It was called Johnny's Rockin' Bistro. It was a pool hall / pizza joint that had a small stage, and there was always bands playing there. It was a local, just a local thing. I mean, even Trivium played it back in the day before they got big. And it was just, maybe 15, 20, 30 people at the most. And then, I got picked up to go, like I said, go play guitar, just as a fill-in. And next thing I know, I'm playing 500 places. I'm like, okay, 500 people. That's not bad. Then 1,000. Then I'm in 5,000. It's like, oh, thank God for that 15 play. Otherwise, I would have gone crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big leap that most people don't understand until you're in that situation. Like, it's very different playing on a stage in a 200 cap room versus an 1,000 cap room. You really have to know how to play to the stage very well. And depending on if you're using wedges or if you're using in-ears, I mean, it's a totally different ball game.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yes. You're.
Especially for us, like being two people, when we play, like we're used to playing tiny rooms, and we started out playing in people's basements and stuff like that, and then all of a sudden you play on like a 30-foot stage at a festival, and you're like, what do we do with this? There's only two of us. We have too much room up here. So you have to figure out what
just
what works
super
best
far
for you.
away from each other.
Yeah. Like, what's the right distance? Do we play right next to each other? Do we go all the way across the stage? Like, where do we, where's the sweet spot?
6 foot social distancing.
Exactly. 6 foot minimum.
Yeah, 6 foot minimum. So, you guys have obviously played in other bands as well. What exactly was the motivation behind just doing it a 2-person duet type thing?
Just having too many people to have to work around all the time. We were, always having obstacles of like people's opinions, schedules, and both of our
work ethic was another one.
Yeah.
Like, nobody on the same page in terms of like what the goals were and how to reach them.
Both of our bands were like dissolving and just like dragging along, and we're just like, let's just do our own. And it never was even like a thought to bring in a third person, because we never needed one.
Yeah, it feels like over the last few years, thanks to the social media age and the fact that there's so many online magazines and online this and online that there's been a lot more major names having interviews and one-on-ones, and things are getting out there more than they ever have before.
Yeah, sure.
Especially about this kind of stuff. I mean, specifically with what you just said, right before or right after CMFT Can't Be Stopped came out, Corey Taylor had an interview talking about how toxic it was, writing songs and being in the same room with those 8 individuals with him as well, and how there's all these, and he said it straight up, toxic motherfuckers that are constantly just up my ass. It's nice to be able to just do a solo album by myself and not have to worry about it. Or 2 years ago, or 3 years ago, there was rumors of Coheed and Cambria breaking up, and and him just saying, I'm done. Claudio was absolutely done with it. And then 2 years ago, Unheavenly Creatures came out, and then the song Pavilion was attached to it. It talks about how the grind of the road and just the busted up TVs inside of the green room and the nasty carpets and just the bus that that you call home for 6 or 8 months at a year. It just got to him. So I mean, do you feel more versus like a 4. Obviously, I'm gonna, I hope I can say this right. Versus like a 4 or even a 9-piece band. You said there was a lot of toxicity. Goes, but do you feel there's a closer bond and brotherhood being that there's just two of you guys?
Definitely.
Yeah, and I think it might be a little different for us, and we maybe have a bit of an advantage over other groups. But we've known each other for 14, 15 years now. We met as incoming freshmen in high school. We were going to like a weight training hockey camp. So there's a lot of incoming freshmen, and then there were some of the current, sophomores, juniors, and people like that, just weight training for the summer and getting some on ice time. But we ended up we didn't know each other, and then we just got paired together because we were kind of the same size and same build, and so we became like weightlifting buddies. And then it wasn't until like a month or two later that we even realized that we were both musicians. Like, he was a drummer, I was a guitar player, so we started recording cassette tapes out on a karaoke machine at his parents' house in the basement, and we just became really good friends and bonded over music, and things like Tenacious D, Rage Against the Machine, like all that stuff had a lot of the same influences. So it was funny that we never really had a band before that together before we started Messenger Birds, but it was just like when we did start it really was that like the best friend brotherhood bond that we've always had, just making it easier than anything else that we were doing before that.
Yeah, I can see that. But then at the same time, you don't have that third or fourth person to to bitch about the other guy too.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, the beauty of our friendship is that we generally are on the same page with most things, and our disagreements are never like a toxic level of like bickering. It more so is just like a constructive conversation of, okay, like, I don't agree with this, like, could we like lean it this way, like what can we do? It never gets to a point of like us actually being mad at each other. And I think we're probably both a little passive aggressive, but like we don't really ever have enough of an issue with anything either of us do to like have a problem. So we
end up talking a lot, and
yeah, we're together all the time, and people are like, do you guys ever run out of things to talk about? Like, no, we're joking around like 95% of the time and saying things that make absolutely no sense.
Yeah, that's how it should be anyway. With the state of music today, and like we said earlier, Spotify being the new A&R rep of the world, do you guys feel being independent is better than being assigned to a major label?
I think that's it's a tough question to answer because there's benefits of both. It just depends on what deal you have, and you definitely want to avoid any sort of deal where you're giving away all your rights to anyone else.
Or you're trapped into making another album when you aren't feeling it.
Right. So like for us, there's no benefit to signing a deal right now, other than maybe like some sort of different publishing deal to help monetarily, because then it would be mutually beneficial to both parties to whatever we signed. But as far as a record deal goes, I mean, we have enough streaming income, which isn't much, but we have enough streaming income monthly from Spotify and Apple and all that stuff that we have monthly income going into whatever our expenses are, whether that's recording or
merch, music videos.
So we just, we've got a budget, a small budget, albeit, but a budget that we can kind of time out and plan out whatever we need, and take on all the costs ourselves and then reap all the benefits too. So we're never having to pay out other people for anything. We don't owe anybody anything. Nobody's chasing us down for money on recouping things that are not going to recoup for 20 years.
Yeah.
So we're not stuck in a bad situation or like what happens more often than not is the band signs a really bad first deal, even if it's with a good label, and then they're stuck making no money on their first record for their entire career. So
yeah, I mean, look at bands like, there. I mean, one of the most famous ones was the band TLC. Fuck, they were broke their first 3 albums. I mean, they just got completely taken to the cleaners. I mean, those poor girls. I mean, I've heard that story 1,000 times. But I mean, and also like even like Trivium, who when they got signed to Roadrunner, I used to know Matt Heafy back in the day. He went to school with my ex-girlfriend, and he showed me from Ascendancy, one of the residual checks, it was 1 penny. It's like,
oh
damn,
yeah, it's insane.
It's bad.
Heard that story before, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough out there. So let me ask you this, because I'm always curious. Are you guys still working a 9 to 5, or is this it for you?
We both
Still
do
working
work
9 to
9 to 5s. Yeah. I up until COVID happened was a middle school math teacher, and
Wow. Okay.
So whenever I would always tell people I'm a teacher, and then they always assume it's music. I'm like, nope, it's mathematics. And I also have a dual degree in math and language arts, which the language arts thing makes sense to people because of writing lyrics and poetry and all that stuff. But then the math thing comes in there, like, what are you talking about? That seems weird. But then I've worked in bars forever, bartended and venues and all over the place. And then Chris,
Yeah, I work at a brewery.
Me too.
Nice.
Breweries are the best.
Yeah, it's pretty
it's a
fun.
good job to have.
Yeah. So are you still teaching now, or are you not right now?
Right now, I'm doing like private tutoring, which is kind of the best case scenario for me. I'm not making very different money than I was before, and my schedule is entirely on me. So, right now I have like a fairly consistent schedule day to day, and then every once in a while something changes or somebody cancels and reschedules. But I was able to, just from having taught the last several years, have enough people go to bat for me and share stuff around, and I put together a pretty sizable roster as soon as the school year started. So it all worked out.
So then, even then, based off of the last 5 minutes of conversation, you have your 9 to 5s to pay your everydays, but your music is at least paying for your music, and that right there is an accomplishment in itself, especially in today's day and age.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
So
It
hats
makes
off
it
to you guys.
Really easy to keep it going too. It's like you never had to have that question of like, we can't afford to be a band or anything. So
Yeah.
I think if we didn't have that, we might be a little more pressured or feel more pressure to try to seek out a deal. But yeah, at this point, like if we weren't getting a deal that was giving us some real advance money that we could kind of live on, and then not worry about being stuck in like 5 options to some label and not seeing a penny of royalties, then we would want to make sure that we're doing it right. But we've got the money we need for now, and if a deal makes sense later, we'll do that. But yeah, it's all about what makes sense for the team right now, and we're just going to ride it as long as we can.
Yeah, I hate asking those questions, and I hate talking about it because it makes people uncomfortable. But at the same time, one of the things I love to talk about on my show is just the real world. What artists go through, big and small. What what really goes on behind the curtains.
Yeah, we love talking about that stuff. I
Yeah.
mean, we've been grinding it out for our entire adult lives in some form doing this, and not in this band the whole time, obviously, but we know the reality of bands isn't always what people see on the internet or on social media. So people are putting a lot of work in behind the scenes just to keep that the music going, or to get it started in the first place. That's usually the toughest part.
Exactly. Because I mean that what it does, in my opinion, and I could be completely wrong, but at the same time I could be partially correct or 100% correct. You know, when you guys are open and honest about that kind of stuff, not just you, but bands in general, it really kind of shows the dedication to the music, and the fans appreciate it a little bit more. Because you know, there's bands sitting at home right now that again are sitting there saying, "Hey, sorry, we're not putting out. We have our album. We're not putting it out for you until we can tour again." But at the same time, they're not working a 9 to 5. They're still living off of their good residuals. They still have a good massive amount of money, and they're not taking care of their fans. But then at the same time, there's bands like y'all and other bands out there that are having to work that 9 to 5 and really have to work that grind just to make sure that they keep their fans happy. And I think fans appreciate that even more.
Yeah,
I sure hope so. Yeah,
I hope that, I mean, just the type of people we are, I think that no matter what level we're at, we're always going to be putting in that extra work to try to make sure we're doing the best job we can as artists to put out good music and to interact with the fans and just to, you know, we never want to be the people that are just kind of coasting along.
Yeah, 100%. So what is your guys' plans for the next 6 months? Or are you guys still playing it by ear?
The only thing that's for sure right now is we're writing another record. So we are just starting kind of the plans of when we think we'll have it done, when we want to book some studio time to maybe even put a little more pressure on ourselves to get it done by that time, to, you know, give ourselves a deadline and just making the budget plan for it. But
yeah, we'll adapt to anything that happens in this situation, and we'll jump at any opportunity to do something sweet. But just kind of waiting it out.
Hopefully, by the time everything's said and done, I mean, we'll have a better idea too of when we'll be able to tour again. So then we'll have a record to put out again to be able to tour off of. So that would be the ideal scenario, anyway.
Yeah, that would be. And because again, you know, over the last 8 months that I've kind of I've flipped my format to what I do now versus what it was. I've been exposed to so much good music. I've been exposed to, you know, genres that I wouldn't normally listen to, such as rap and R&B. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, in the genre that, you know, is my daily grind, which is the rock and metal genre, I've just, you know, all these smaller independent bands that are just fucking killing it. It's like, okay, you know, I'm just anxiously waiting to be able to come see you guys, to go see, you know, like I'm talking to Black Suit Youth tomorrow. I talked to Lonely Youth today. You know, I talked to, you know, countless of discrepancies and everybody else like that. It's like, I need to come see these guys. I need to come see you guys. I need to see music again. You know, I want to go see.
I love seeing like the young punk rock bands in a small club and that just tear it up, man.
Tear it up.
Loud as heck.
You know, I would be okay with, you know, going to my brewery and be able to have, you know, fucking, you know, acoustic night again. But not even having that. You know, I mean, we don't even have our open mic anymore. So it's like, you know, whatever. But I miss live music in general. I don't care if it's a cover band acoustic, you know, performance. You know, I need music back in my life, and I'm glad that you guys are still out there, you know, pumping out new music. I really dig the new songs, man. It's, you know,
we appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's different, it's fun. You know, when I first heard it, you know, normally what I'll do is, and I love the way Mike does this on the press releases, before it gets like, you know, here your description is, it's always got the links to the new album, or, you know, the secret links that only, you know, PR people get to, you know, give out, whatever. Right. And so I always click that before I read about you guys. And as soon as I heard it, I was like, oh man, this so reminds me of Queens of the Stone Age. And then I went and read it, and that's where, you know, that's one of your guys' influences. I was like, hell yeah. But then as I listened to more, I was like, fuck, this stuff is just good. It's different. It's powerful. It's, you know, and what makes it even cooler is it's just the two of you guys, and it really punches people in the face from that first fucking time you hit the play button. So
thank you, man. I mean, that's honestly everything that we hope that it always does. Any song we put out or any record we put out, we hope that it has that impact. So it's really nice to hear you say that. And I think that one of our strengths is really just that we listen to so much different music, and especially being young kids in the 90s, we still got the 90s grunge scene was sort of a little bit of still nostalgia music to us, even though we weren't like old enough at the time when it was huge to appreciate it. But we came back to that. That was some of the first music we got into, and then going from there, we lived through like the 2000s emo era, and so like we've listened to so many different genres, even now, that it's just you pack all that into one thing and just see what comes out.
You want to hear something shitty?
What's that?
Yeah.
I never liked grunge music or Nirvana.
Oh, really? Some people are like, dude, Nirvana sucks. It's all about Pearl Jam, or it's all about Alice in Chains.
I was a Pearl Jam fan, don't get me wrong, but I only liked like 2 of their albums. Obviously 10 and then Anthology. Those were the 2 albums I liked. But it was just like, other than that, I mean, Alice in Chains was great, but I didn't consider them too grungy.
I mean, to me, I know that they were like one of the grunge bands, but like when you listen to their music, especially now, like it doesn't come off as like quote unquote grunge as some of the other grunge era bands. But I mean, Soundgarden's always going to be incredible.
Yep.
I love Soundgarden.
But even then, I never considered them grunge either.
They were like a prog rock metal band, dude.
Correct. Yeah, exactly.
They were rad.
Yeah, I mean, now their first album that I remember was kind of grungy, but then it definitely turned into prog rock. I mean, 100%.
Yeah,
right.
What's funny is that like everybody equates grunge to Nirvana, and particularly Nevermind. But I mean, grunge is a terrible word to describe any of those bands because they're all so different from each other.
Yeah, I mean, the original grunge, and this has been hotly debated, but I mean, the Pixies are what started it all.
Dude, the Pixies, 100%.
And that sounds nothing like Nirvana.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, but I was the kid. I mean, I was, 10, 11 years old when grunge first were kind of started. But I was introduced to music because of Michael Jackson and Prince. Dude. I was like 5 years old when Thriller came out, and I was just obsessed with that music video.
I mean, those are the hands down 2 of the greatest all-time performers, musicians to ever walk the earth.
Exactly. I mean, it instilled what being an entertainer was. Not a musician, not an artist, not a singer, an entertainer. Yeah. And it really, really set it off. And then, right when I was like, I think it was 7 years old in 88 when And Justice for All came out, and I was like, holy shit, what the hell is this? And then I was introduced to metal and hair metal and all this other crap, and and I just became obsessed with it at that point, and I kind of skipped over grunge and went straight to Metallica, and I went from Prince to Metallica. I skipped a whole bunch of subgenres in there, but hey, whatever.
Yeah, dude, that was like kind of my middle school experience, going from I think it was 7th or 8th grade when I kind of discovered metal more, and it was like going from listening to, I don't know, Taking Back Sunday or something like that to like, oh, here's Slipknot,
Yeah.
But and then I got into a whole world of other stuff too. Like I became like a huge Converge fan, and like all that kind of stuff. The super noise hardcore bands, and I listen to everything, man.
Yeah. See, I'm gonna date myself here. I was 18 when Slipknot came out with their first album. And I'm not talking about the EP Mate Feed Kill Repeat. I'm talking about the self-titled. But and I was one of the ones, I was a big Anthrax fan. I was a big, Pantera fan, and obviously, Machine Head and all this other, and then I'm like, what the hell is this new metal bullshit? I was at 18 years old, I was already like, already a hardcore, deathcore metalhead, guy. I was like, fuck new metal. And then by Iowa, I was like, okay, I love this guys.
Yeah, when you're like, this is weird, this is different, and then you're like, okay, never mind, they're sweet.
Yeah, Iowa's what did it for me. That first, the first album is great now that, once I went back and listened to it, but Iowa did it for me. I mean, and then,
Iowa's a classic, man. You always go back to that one.
I mean, such a great album. I mean, yeah, they had their radio friendly song, Left Behind on that one. But at the same time, they had so many other killer songs on that,
Spit It
Disaster.
Out is still one of the raddest songs on that album, dude.
And Disaster Piece and everything else like that. I mean, whew, that's such a rad album. Oh my God, such a rad album. But, yeah, dude, I could sit here and talk music with you guys all fucking day. I am a wealth of knowledge of music, and I just love talking music. Like I said at the intro, I love talking to actors and actresses about method and all this other stuff and new movies and all this other stuff. I mean, because I'm writing a movie right now and I'm doing a bunch of different stuff. But but my roots have always been in music, and they always will be. Like I said, from the time I was 5 years old, watching Michael Jackson do his thing for the Thriller video to today, I can't go a single day without just jamming out. I mean, I get on when I come down, get ready for the show in my studio, I tell my Alexa to just, play this or play that. When you guys came on earlier, I was listening to Ginger, and it's, I just can't go a single day without rocking out to something, just whether it's soft or hard. Music will always be in my blood, and I'm so glad I was able to talk to you guys and all the other. I'm fortunate enough to have all these other bands that I've had on the show, because it tickles my fancy, because I can't play anymore, I can't go out and tour anymore. But damn it, you know what? I get to talk to you guys, and that's what matters to me most, because I want to be able to promote you guys as best as I can.
Well, we're happy to tickle your fancy anytime.
Yeah. I'll bend over anytime you want me to. You can tickle it, okay?
Yeah, once we can play a live show and are able to get down to Ohio, we'll definitely come hang out with you, and we'd love to grab a beer and chat some more, and just do it up, man. Do it real. Do it real.
I mean, I was hoping this coming year to get my press pass and be able to hit the world's loudest month, but unfortunately that's not going to happen. So hopefully in 2022 that'll happen, but hopefully at least concerts will come back next year, and I can start getting in you guys' faces and do some face-to-faces and just hang out with you guys.
Crossed,
and
you can get this close to our face.
Hit a fucking brewery or two, drink some good beer, and just enjoy each other's company and just talk fucking music and just, whatever, man. Because I miss that kind of shit, and I'm so, like I said, it's all about it's music is unity, and
100%.
The more and I talked to the guy's name was Tyler from Lonely Youth today. We were talking about this exact same subject, and that episode will be out on Wednesday, but we were talking about unity. You can't go to a movie theater and find, 10 different walks of life, 10 different ages, all for that one type of movie. You go to a movie, you know exactly what you're walking into. If you go to a Broadway play, you know exactly what you're walking into. There's those type, movies and stuff like this have cultural divides. However, music does not. You go to a rock show, you're going to see all walks of life, rich, poor, black, white, Hispanic, male, female, trans, gay, everything. Same thing with a rap show, same thing with a R&B show. Music is unifying and knows no cultural divide. And it's just a beautiful fucking thing that no other, aspect of entertainment, not even comedy, can pull off, because there's so much offense in comedy and everyone wants to cancel everybody. So yeah. But music
it's a good thing we're not in comedy.
I am, and that's what scares me, because I'm pretty dark and pretty offensive, so I'm just waiting.
We are too. We talk all the time about it. If people that didn't know us very well listened in on some of our conversations, they'd cancel us real fast.
The wrong time, that wouldn't be good for anybody.
Yeah, but the thing about it is I have to be like that, and I think I'm starting to get better known as that type of comedian. So
that's good, man.
That's fun.
You just gotta lean into it and like, hey, man, this is a comedy show.
Exactly, and I'm gonna quote Anthony Jeselnik, because he says it best. If anyone ever kills me because of one of my jokes, instant fucking legend. You know?
Yeah.
You know, so whatever. You know, if I get beat up because of one of my jokes and because of something I said, I become a legend. So hey, whatever. But you guys, man, you guys are badass. I dig your music. I dig, you know, your vibe. I dig everything about you guys. And, you know, I cannot wait to see you guys back on the road because I so want to see you guys perform and just really, really, you know, enjoy your live shit because you guys are just badass. So thank you very much for being here.
Thank you so much for having us. Yeah, when we do come through, we'll hit you up for sure.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I appreciate you guys. Guys, check out all the links for Messenger Birds in the description of the video and the podcast. And check them out on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Music, everywhere you get your music, they're there. Guys, again, thank you so much for being here, and I cannot wait to talk to you guys again.
Thank you, man.
Same,
Appreciate
man.
it.
You're welcome, guys. You have a good one now. I'll talk to you guys soon.
Take it easy, man.
All right, peace. All right, guys. So that is our Monday. I need to hire a fucking cameraman. Because it's not my internet connection. It's definitely my camera. It looks a little bit better now. But either way, thank you guys so much for being here. I truly, truly appreciate it. The last 24 hours of my life have been absolute dog shit. And I'll talk more about that in the coming weeks. But, you know, I'm thankful that I have you guys. Because without you and without the show, I don't know where I would be. And I've lost a lot in the last 24 hours. And it's been rough. And I don't know where the path is going to take me. I don't know what is next on the horizon. But I do know that this show will continue on. I do know that the plans that I have in place, you know, taking the show, you know, live, you know, with a live band and into possibly a brewery or into a warehouse or something to that effect, and doing it the way I want to do it, you know, like I've been saying for a while, you know, Tonight Show style, but, you know, without a suit and tie, without, you know, restrictions, without, you know, limits, just the way I do it now, just a little bit different. That's still all on the horizon. That's still coming. But, you know, personally, things are going to change for me. And I'm going to try to keep it as real and as lighthearted as I possibly can. And just thank you. Thank you. I don't know what the hell happened to my camera issue tonight, but tomorrow I'll have it all squared away. So for those of you who are watching this, I appreciate it. Thank you. For those of you listening, please be safe on your way to work or on your way home from work. All your support is needed. Again, as always, betterhelp.com/SIPod for 10% off your first month. And manscaped.com, use promo code SuckItPodcast for 20% off your entire order and free shipping. Ladies, I'm sure your man is, you know, starting to grow out his bush there, buying that shit and tell him to shave it. I'm sure you're sick and tired of catching that pube in your mouth. But anyway, I love you guys. Thank you so much for being a part of this family. Until tomorrow with the band Black Suit Youth, stay happy as best as you can. Stay healthy. And as always, stay heavy. We'll see you tomorrow, guys. Peace.